Yeah, I mean, I think it was surprising for a lot of us that he chose to to weigh in on the strike at that point. I think for me, really, the thing that it highlights is that the CEOs don't, in my view, have enough direct involvement in these negotiations, and so it makes it hard when the rubber meets the road for them to actually understand the context that they might then be commenting on. So from my perspective, I just encourage the CEOs in whatever way they can to take more direct involvement in the negotiations. These negotiations are an exercise in problem solving. They are an exercise in finding creative ways to address the needs of our members that also work for the companies. And you need to have problem solvers working on that in order to have that pay off.
At first I was just like, it's just me and 5 people, and then by the end I was like, okay, I talked to at least like 4 people that I wouldn't have seen otherwise.
No, I mean, it's definitely true. I mean, the strikes, the Writers Guild strike and our strike, are having a huge impact on people who are dependent on the industry for their work. There's no doubt about it. And we all feel terrible that that's the case. Of course, our members are equally suffering. The fact of the matter is that we didn't want to go on strike. The only reason we're on strike is because the companies refused to make a fair deal with us. The companies have the key to end this strike today. All they have to do is make a fair deal on these proposals, but they haven't even been willing to talk since July 12th. So I completely agree with the statement that this has caused a lot of harm to people in roles and who have work that is part of the industry that's affected by it. But I think it's really important to understand where the responsibility for that lies. And I think the fact that one side has been saying every day since July 12th, let's continue talking and try to find the way to a path to a deal, and the other side has been unwilling or unable to have that conversation. It speaks volumes about that. I hope this strike is over as soon as possible and want those people to get back to work. And the last thing I just note is, and I think it is one of the great things about this industry is that people do step up to take care of each other. So whether that's by donations that have been made to funds to help people like the Entertainment Community Fund and other places where emergency assistance is available. SAG-AFTRA members have stepped up and made sizable donations to those funds and to our own emergency assistance fund at our foundation, at the SAG-AFTRA Foundation. So, we know who hasn't, as far as I know, stepped up to make donations to those funds? Any of the studios or streamers. And I kind of wonder why, because surely they recognize that they're part of this situation also, but I guess that just isn't something that's a priority for them. It is tough to estimate. I mean, this is our 18th day of being on strike. I had hoped that we would already have had some kind of conversations with the industry by now. Obviously, that hasn't happened yet. But I'm optimistic, having heard the news and the sort of back channel that the CEOs are talking to each other about how to maybe move things forward. And I hope that's true because there has been a huge impact on the industry, not just on the companies, but on the people who are part of the industry. And I kind of take heart that even Wall Street analysts, which are not exactly, the most emotional, humanity-driven people necessarily, even Wall Street analysts are saying, what are these people doing? They've got to just make a deal. These workers are the core of these businesses' success, and it doesn't make sense from an economic point of view, from a Wall Street perspective, that they haven't found a way to make a deal with them. And I feel like if Wall Street analysts are saying this, then hopefully the companies at least are listening to them. Yeah, I mean, it's really important, but I mean, it's especially important in the context of AI, for example, because look how far generative AI has come in the last 12 to 18 months. Our normal contract cycle is 3 years. So the idea that we could somehow, just wait, take this issue up in the next round of bargaining or something like that, there's absolutely no way we could do that. By that time that has come around, it will be too late for us to be able to do anything to put guardrails around this implementation within this industry. And our members know that. I think everybody, I think the public knows that. That's why there's so much public support for us in this negotiation. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on right now that can't wait. Inflation, the inflation that's happened over the last 2 to 3 years, that's extraordinary, and we can't wait 3 years to solve for that. Our members need minimum increases so they're not working for less now than they made 3 years ago. Things like that are really unique to this moment in time and can't be put off. And when we heard that the company's response to the Writers Guild's AI proposal was, we'll meet with you once a year during the term of the contract to discuss how AI is affecting the industry, we said that is not a good sign. I mean, how could anyone ever agree to that? A once a year meeting to talk about, how AI affects the industry? That's not a serious response to a very serious problem.
I've just been getting up early.